Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode, installment, whatever you feel like calling it, of Megalan7's Gamefinds and Pickups. This is actually going to be the third try at getting this recorded. The first time, I kept running out of space on my camera, so it would stop recording and be like, oh, memory's full. And the second time, when I was editing it, I realized there was a good number of flaws I made in the video. So I decided to scrap it. We're doing it again. So I've regathered everything. And let's do this. I can show y'all what I got. Alright, so the first couple things I got aren't all that exciting, and some of them really prove that sometimes I buy games because it's cheap and it goes in the collection just to kind of beef it up. I've heard of people doing it before, and I have a couple friends who are like, yeah, I just want to come more GameCube games, so I went ahead and picked these up or whatever system. But I found these for really cheap in a clearance at Kmart, where pretty often you can normally find them doing games on clearance. And sometimes they're really good games that just somehow people missed or they were lost in a back stockroom or something. And they'll end up for cheap. And sometimes they're just stuff nobody wanted. And that's probably more what ended up with these. But hey, I'm glad to have them because I got them for like $2 to $3 each. First one is Nicktoons MLB for the DS. And I'm going to go ahead and open them even though I bought these all new. One thing to note about this game for people who are also into game collecting, when it comes to a game like this and you see these like trading cards, this type of thing is going to be really hard, or the hardest part to find about this game years down the road. So, you know, if you pick up this game, make sure to keep track of that, or if you collect for DS games, know about those cards, because those are probably going to be the part that's going to be the hardest for you to get about this game. So I can tell you that mine are probably staying unopened in the case. Next game is Grease for the DS. Definitely not something I would have picked up just, to play. But from the back, it looks like it might be something like Elite Beat Agents, which, if that is the case, it might actually be an alright game, because Elite Beat Agents is fun. But I have no idea what to actually expect from that game, and I don't really have any plans to find out. The last DS game I got from the Kmart clearance bin was Puss in Boots, and as a side note, rest in peace THQ. It's probably games like this that got them into a bad situation in the first place. Manuals behind the safety book. I got one PS3 game, nothing special, but it's Band Hero. My phone fell twice. You know, whatever. I don't feel like starting over for a fourth time. Band Hero. Everything's there. Of course, I bought it new. Cat's going crazy over in the corner. I got one Wii game. Rock Band Metal Track Pack. Don't really know why it's called a track pack when you don't need to have Rock Band to play this. You can just have this and a guitar and be fine. Or, drums, microphone, whatever. I always thought it was like you had to it was an add-on, and it was only recently that I learned, like, no, it's its own standalone thing. Alright, well, whatever. Glad to have it. So, next thing that I'll show you is, there was one day me and some of my friends went out game hunting because I'm friends with other collectors, and we hit up this game store that one of my coworkers told me about, and it was all right. It reminded us a lot of another one that is closer to home, so we don't really play, and it was pretty far out, so we don't really plan on going to it that often. It did have some nice prices though, and some things were astronomically high. Like they had a Marvel vs. Capcom 1 for the Dreamcast, just the disc for like $70, and that's pretty outrageous. But anyway, there was some good to be found there. So here's what I picked up. First one is a game I only recently learned existed. We have Strider Returns: Journey from Darkness. I really enjoy the first Strider game. So when I learned about this one, I was like, hey, I want to give this a shot. And it's really not that great. My main problem is the frame rate on it's really bad. So everything looks really choppy, and it just really bothers me. The other Genesis game I picked up was Ristar, which I've been looking for a copy of this game for a while. I have it on Wii Virtual Console, and also like through Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection. But I've always wanted the actual cart for this because this game is awesome. It is dirty on this side, and the top label's messed up, but it was really cheap for, Ristar. So I definitely went ahead and grabbed it. I got one N64 game, Rocket Robot on Wheels. This is an example of a game where I watched people who collect on like YouTube or through forums saying that this game is actually somewhat underrated for the N64, and it's a pretty solid platformer. I played it for a little bit when I first made sure it worked, and it seemed fun. But I've heard enough good things that I figured it's worth getting. Forgot about two of them. Next two games fit in my. I don't have it for the NES, and it was less than $5, so go ahead and buy it. The store also had a lot of other really uncommon NES games. They had Mario's Time Machine, but it was a really messed up copy. They had Mermaids, which is pretty uncommon. But the prices on the uncommon to I wouldn't say rare, but the games you don't see much, they had really high prices on. And I just decided to pass on most of them. But these were within a price range I was willing to get them for. The first one is Rampart. It's in pretty good shape. I do really like Rampart, so I recommend you play it. But I don't recommend playing the NES version. I recommend you go out and find an arcade port, or there's a version that was on the Game Boy Advance that's pretty good. It's a pretty fun game. And then the last NES game was Megalan, which is nothing special. It's not horrible, but it's definitely got some pretty glaring flaws. It's a pretty good looking copy. I didn't have one. It was like $3, or $4. It was marked to me, but he charged $4. But because of something else he did, I wasn't going to call him out on it. The last two things I got were 32X games, which even at retro game stores in my area, I see maybe one or two. And this one actually had a fair amount, so I don't know if they recently traded them in or if just nobody's been buying them. Either way, I'm fine with it. First one I got was Metalhead, which is, from the little bit I played, like a first-person shooter-ish thing. It controlled horribly from what I played, but a lot of 32X games from what I've played, if you don't use a 6-button Genesis controller, they're going to be really kind of hard to control. That might have been the problem. I don't know. Once I find where my 6-button controller went, I'll give it another shot. Then the next game, which is the reason why I didn't call anything out on Amigon when he charged an extra $1, whatever, was Shadow Squadron, which is a solid and fun spaceflight sim. When I found it, it was in a box behind the counter that he pulled out for me to look at, and there wasn't a price on it. So I was like, hey, how much for this one? And he started to walk over toward his computer to price it. But as he got halfway there, and he was like, you know what? Just, how's $2.99 sound? Because apparently he just didn't feel like looking it up. So I was like, okay, I'll take it. And, that's why I decided not to call anything on Amigon, since this was already really cheap for this game. This game ranges from $15 to $20 eBay value, so getting it for $3 is really good. And like I said, it's really fun. So if you find a copy of Shadow Squadron for a good price, I'd say check it out. So that was the game. Got stuff falling. That was what I picked up at a game store recently. There's not very many retro game stores around me. There's the one that I went to there, which, like I said, me and my friends were planning on going back to because it was far away, and their prices were really, really hit or miss. And when they were good, but some were just astronomically high, and you could get them for half that on eBay. But whatever. Each place is their own. There's seriously only 2 retro game stores around me that I've been able to find. But anyway, so the next bunch of games I actually got from an antique store that I found out about through Craigslist. They put a listing on the Craigslist near me, saying, "Hey, we've got a ton of old games." And in their picture, they had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 for the NES. I saw Final Fantasy 2, or was it 3? I think it was 2 for the Super Nintendo, and they were only asking $5 to $10 each, and that's really good for those games. But when I found out about it, the antique store was closed and they weren't going to open for another couple days. So after waiting, I went up there after work one day. And, lo and behold, a lot of the really good stuff was gone. Ninja Turtles 3 was gone. The Final Fantasy was gone. Oh well, I wasn't too upset about Ninja Turtles since that would have just been like trade bait for me since I already have Ninja Turtles 3. But I would have liked Final Fantasy because I don't have very many RPGs for the Super Nintendo. So that would have been nice. But there was some awesome stuff to be found that was left. And here's some of the stuff I was able to pick up. Well, strike that. Here's all the stuff I was able to pick up. The only Super Nintendo game I purchased from there is this Super Mario Kart. It's in pretty good shape. A couple NES games. Wheel of Fortune, Vanna White. Picked it up because I didn't have it. Funny story about this is I actually had a copy of this before. I bought it from strike that. There's 3 retro game stores around me now. I'm telling the story, but it's really small. I bought it from there, and I came home, cleaned the thing countless times, had other people try and clean it, and we could not get the game to work. And I even have a top loader NES, which a lot of people say, like, if all else fails, try a top loader, probably play there. It never played, so I had to take it back, and I was having trouble getting this one to work too, but I finally got it. So I was starting to think I was just cursed when it came to the Vanna White edition. Anyway, I got Double Dragon. It's a little beat up. They wrote the actual price they wanted for it there, which that's unfortunate because that's pin. That's going to be really hard to get off. And there's a slight tear on the edge here, which also kind of sucks. But hey, $5 for Double Dragon's pretty good, and Double Dragon's fun. I kind of prefer 2, but that could just be nostalgia because Double Dragon 2 was one of the original NES games I had. Next up, we have a Gold Kart Legend of Zelda. It's really kind of beat up. You can see along the edges, the gold's like gone. It's all along the back. I also am unsure right now if the save battery works. I put a save on it. And I've waited a couple days to really ensure whether it would save or not. So pretty much after this video, I'm going to go plug in my NES and see if the save battery works. I hope it does because I've never had to change NES save battery before. I wouldn't mind learning, but I just prefer not to do it. Last NES game was Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Everything looked great about it. There's a price sticker on the back from like a really old game store, but those can come off. Now the bulk of what I got from this antique store was actually Intellivision games, which means that twice now in my videos you guys are going to see a parade of Intellivision. Well, if you hate Intellivision, I apologize. Maybe at my great comedic or I don't know, maybe something about me will keep you watching the video. Whatever. Alright, let's go. So we have the Dreadnought Factor, which, here's a sad fact about this. The label has come unglued, and it was glued for a while until after my second time trying to shoot this video. It fell off. So I'm going to have to re-stick it on there somehow. But other than that, it's a fairly solid game. It's not bad. It's like kind of like Defender. We have Blockade Runner, which is another one of these weird red cards that I commented on last time. I've since learned that it's the company Interphase's cartridge design. Whatever. We have Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Treasure of Tarman. Its label is terrible. As a matter of fact, the first couple times I shot this video, I thought it was Legend of Armin because the T is pretty much gone. But when I tried to look the game up, I couldn't find Armin, and then Tarman came up, and I was like, oh, I was missing a letter. And then now we have a television game that I actually found really fun when I was playing it, Swords and Serpents by Magic. I was actually surprised by this game. It's a really simple, like, you're just like the best in television can do it, representing like a knight from like an overhead perspective, and your swords are sticking out. You can walk into things and it kills them. And for something about it, which is really kind of charming and fun. So if you can find this game for pretty cheap, I'd say grab it. It's one of the more fun in television games I've played. So those 4 didn't have their boxes, but everything else I got did. I bought everything they had because I didn't have any of the boxes they had except for Major League Baseball. But I didn't feel like leaving them with just the one, and I figured maybe if I got them all, I could get a deal. Here's the first one. It's a Sears Telegames version of Super Video Arcade Triple Action. It came with, game fell out. Came with one of the overlays in the game. Go back in there, thank you. An Intellivoice game, Space Spartans. Came with the manual and a little like advertisement for Intellivision games. There's the card. We got Snafu, which I really like for essentially being the Tron Light Cycles game. And that game's awesome. You're not falling out like the other one did, no. Stay. Came with the instruction manual, which is pretty cool. Another Sears Telegames version. Super Video Arcade Space Battle. Got 2 overlays, manual, and the game. That's pretty much as complete as an Intellivision game can get, or at least as far as my knowledge goes. Game with a pretty messed up box, so I'm probably going to get a protector for it just to make sure it doesn't get worse. Mission X. Yeah, as you can see, the box is trying to fall apart even while sitting on a table. The game is in here. It didn't have the overlays in the manual. I don't feel like taking the game out because, like I said, the box is already pretty rough. But yeah, there's that. Another game with a rough box, but because everything's here, I guess I'll take it out to show you guys. Loco Motion. Try and get out the other side. Now, this is another game for Intellivision that if you find it, and it's not like super expensive, I recommend you get it. It's a really fun little puzzle game. I got 2 overlays for it. Manual. And then this little like 90-day limited warranty. So I guess for truly complete Intellivision games, you need this too. But I don't think many people are going to be clamoring for, oh man, you have the 90-day warranty card? You know, most people are just like, you know, game box manual, you're good. Unless there was some like little bonus, like I was saying earlier, with like the trading cards in that MLB game. In which case, you know, normally those collectibles are like the hardest part of finding a game. Shoot, I recently learned about, apparently there was like a version of Rampage, or I think it was like Rampage 2 or 3 for the N64 that came with like a little like plush toy. And the prices for that can just get astronomical. Like I saw one, I think it was just a little plush toy, and I think it sold for like $500. That is insane to me. But I mean, if you're like going for everything in 64 and that's all you're missing, maybe you're willing to throw that. Skiing, just a cart. Another funny story, last time I tried to film this, the game actually wasn't in there. So there's just this kind of awkward pause when I opened the boxes. I went, oh great, it's not there. We got Space Hawk, manual, little Intellivision ad game, 2 overlays, and oh look, an overlay for Atlantis. I don't have Atlantis, but hey, I have an overlay for it. We got Utopia. Games in there, instruction manual, television ad. No overlays. We got a Magic game. Shiny box. Microsurgeon. There's the manual. There's the game. No overlays. So that kind of sucks. But, you know, everything else there in the overlays. Here's the game I mentioned I've already had once, and yeah, actually saw in the video. I think you saw in the video. No, because I didn't have any boxes in that video. Oh well, I already had this anyway. Major League Baseball. I didn't have the manual though, so I guess, you know, I got it for the manual. Boxes, alright. I guess I'll save the best 2 of these for last. Boxing. 2 overlays, instruction manual game. Pretty cool. Probably the rarest, most expensive game out of all of them was Dracula, which I know you saw the cart in the previous video, but I didn't get the box or anything with it. Got the manual. There's an overlay, and there's the game. I feel like it had 2 overlays when I first opened it up, so I'm guessing if I had a second one, it's now just misplaced somewhere in my house, which means who knows how long it could be before I find it, if I ever find it. But oh well, I still have at least one overlay, so when I play the game, I'll know what in the world each button does. Yeah, so that's pretty neat to have. And then what I think is probably the coolest thing that I got is this. It's a complete Las Vegas poker and blackjack. Why do I know it's complete? Because this thing is sealed. Old price sticker from a KB Toys where they like cleaners it to like $5. You can see all the wrapping on it. Bring it up a little closer so you can see. There's the hang tab. Yeah, it's completely sealed. Everything, when I first tallied everything up at this antique store, it totaled to $79. I asked the place, hey, since I'm buying a ton of games from you, I mean, there's 18 just Atari games. Not Atari, Intellivision, sorry. And I was like, can we do just like an even 70 since I'm buying so much? And she kind of contemplated for a minute, and then she's like, yeah, okay, I guess I can do that. So then, once tax hit, everything totaled $75. But $75 for everything that I picked up from this antique store is really good. Especially considering that Dracula game with its box and everything like that goes for like $40-50 by itself. So, that's the bulk of the cost right there if I were to eBay all this stuff. But hey, I'm happy to... As long as I'm happy with the purchase, what's it matter? It doesn't really come down to the value all the time, as much as some collectors seem to think that if you didn't get it for a steal, what's the point? Even if you overpaid, if you paid full market or fair market value, depending on what you call it. I don't know why some people think you got ripped off if you paid market value, because that's what the game's worth. If you pay over for it, yeah, then you got ripped off. But if a game is worth like $20 and you want to play it and you find one that's $20. It's not like you're getting ripped off. That's what the game's worth. But anyway, before I start a whole tirade. Okay, last couple things. This video is running way longer than any of my other shoots, so I know I've lost your attention by now. Sorry, guys. These were all found at Goodwills or other thrift stores. It's not a game, but it's game related. Street Fighter 2, the animated movie. I'm going to kind of zoom through these since I spent so long on everything else. We got Rage Racer. It's complete. I did have to change its case because the case that it was originally in was busted. Next is Turbo Prop Racing, which I only got because it looked like Hydro Thunder, and I liked Hydro Thunder. Complete. Game I've already shown a video before, but it's a good trade bait game. Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. It's complete. Just like with skiing last time, the disc isn't there. It's up in my GameCube where I was testing it to make sure it worked. I do have the game. Take my word for it. If you don't feel like taking my word for it, go ahead. I know I have it. Ninja Turtles 2 Battle Nexus. Doesn't have the manual, but I mostly got it for the... It has an arcade port of the TMNT arcade game, and that game's awesome. Got Half-Life for the PS2. Complete. I had it for PC, but I didn't have the PS2 version. And when I was out thinking about getting this, somebody who was with me was like, oh, by the way, there's a co-op thing that was only in like the console versions. Oh, well, I guess I'll get it. Spyro Enter the Dragon, which I got because I like the PS1 Spyro games. It's complete. And then the last thing that I got at thrift stores, I still am kind of in disbelief that I found it. We have the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind Game of the Year Edition. But if that's not enough for you, this game is still sealed. It's never been opened. You can see the Xbox sticker there. There's one of the seams on the seal. Yeah, found this game completely sealed. And this game, even open, as long as it has everything, is like a $50 game. And it's sealed just makes it that much more expensive. So, since my new running trend at the end of my videos has been to highlight what my favorite find was, I'm going to have to say it's this. I guess not counting that, I'd probably go with like the Atari stuff, or not Atari, Intellivision stuff maybe. Or, you know what, actually, no. If I had to go other than that, I'd probably say Shadow Squadron. But Morrowind wins out. If you really actually stuck through the whole video this long, I really appreciate it. Sorry that it ran this long. I'll try not to be so long-winded next time. Unless you guys like the long-winded video, And, in which case I'll try and elaborate more on games if you want, or if you want me to shut my mouth and just kind of be like, I got this, I got this, I got this. Let me know. I'm really kind of making this channel not only to document for myself what I'm finding, but to really kind of like show you guys what you can do if you're patient and check out these thrift stores and wait for deals to come along. And then, just kind of engage the game collecting community. So I really want to, it's important to me to hear what you guys think of these videos so I can further work to improve them and make them something you'd like. With that said, please like this video, comment below, tell me, what was your favorite find that I got here, what do you think of some of the games I got, what do you want me to do in future videos, and I'm willing to guess at least one person's going to be a smart ass and be like, I'd like you to stop. Cool, buddy. And also, I have other find videos. I also have a Let's Play of Super Meat Boy going. I haven't done another part of that recently because I really think the captures are looking really bad, and I don't want to keep going until I figure out how to clean those up and actually give you, guys, a good video, because you're my audience. You deserve a better video than those other two Meat Boy playthroughs so far have been. So, that's all from me for now. Let me fix that shot a bit. Oh, hey, there's my finger. Yeah, that's all from me for now. Like I said, if you stuck it out this far, I really appreciate you watching the video. If you just kind of skipped around a bit, that's still cool with me. I appreciate you checking it out. Thanks a lot, guys. Good luck with your game hunting. Good luck with life. Peace out.